Hi there. You are meant to master the connection between your mind and your body, the mind body connection. In other words, you are meant to be in mastery of creating optimal health for yourself through the power of your consciousness. And the reality is that you are already creating the state of your health or your lack of it. I'm Morella DeVoe of thrivewithmorella.com, and I want to share with you why this can feel difficult, foreign, and when you've had a health challenge or when you're currently struggling with your health, it can feel sometimes as though you're being blamed for your health issue. And I know exactly how that feels. I used to struggle with my health as well. I had very serious cystic acne for many years. And so I know what it's like to be in a body that you feel isn't cooperating with you, that you feel like you're in battle with your body. And so it can sometimes feel very challenging for someone to say that you're creating it yourself. But this is a reality. We are creating our state of health, whether we realize it or not. And so I want to start with the science first, because there are these three wonderful fields of scientific research that, instead of taking my word for it, you can see that there is evidence that's proving the reality that you do, in fact, create your health. The first field is the field of epigenetics. These are the geneticists that have proven, that are proving that DNA does not determine the fate of your health. That you can have the gene for heart disease like I do, the gene for diabetes like I do, the gene for cystic acne like I do, or dementia or autoimmune conditions. Genes do not dictate your health. So the field of epigenetics is showing that, and it's showing that something else creates health and something else determines how genes express themselves. The second field is the field of psycho-neuro-immunology, which a lot of people may not have heard of. Psycho is about thought of psychology, neuro is about nervous system, and immunology refers to the immune system. So this field got started by studying how thoughts actually can very directly affect the behavior of the immune system. Really interesting research, and it's taken off from there. But essentially, they have proven under the microscope and in blood tests that you can very deliberately direct the behavior of your cells through your thoughts. So thought can direct how your cells behave, and psycho-neuro-immunology is proving it. And the third field is quantum physics. And so ever since the days of Einstein, quantum physicists have been talking about the fact that everything that we perceive around us as real, my physical body that you're seeing, these glasses, the computer or phone through which you're seeing this, everything that we perceive as real and solid is really kind of an illusion, because all that really is there is a soup of energy that is indistinguishable one from the other, and that there's this pure feel of potentiality in this energy, and that what shapes the energy to take the form that we perceive as real is consciousness. It's thought. Quantum physics is proving that the observer of the experiment shapes the experiment, and therefore proving that the observer of reality shapes reality. So how does this translate into our health? The very first way, the most direct way in which we shape physical matter, the soup of energy, is through the physical matter of our bodies. It's through our bodies that we most immediately and directly shape matter, because we are shaping this matter all the time. This very minute, you are shaping this physical matter that is your body. You're not doing it consciously, though. None of us are. It's a whole collection of mindset of beliefs, of thoughts, of how we've learned to create and shape this reality. So I'm kind of deep in the weeds of a quantum physics thought, but you've also heard this through the law of attraction and all the books and movies that have been produced in the last decade around how we shape our reality. So when it comes to our health, there's one way in which I'm sure you've already noticed that you have power over your body. And the most direct way that we experience this, very tangible way in which we experience this, is food. I'm sure you've experienced that when you eat something that doesn't agree with you, it affects your physical matter. If you drink too much, I'm sure you felt the hangover, right? And then beyond that, you have probably had the experience of shifting your diet and that having a very real impact on your physical health. And so we see all of these different fields of thought in terms of food. There's microbiotics, there's the keto diet, there's raw foodism, there's the anti-inflammatory diet, the Mediterranean diet, all these different schools of thought of how food can shape physical health, and all of them proving how real they are, that we can shift the course of disease, that we can halt disease, that we can reverse disease, so all these things that we can do through food. And yet, there's something even more powerful than food shaping your state of health right now, and that is your consciousness. Your consciousness, your identity. It's kind of the sum total of who you are, of the vibration that you put out into the world. And you put it out into the world first through your body. It kind of goes through, it vibrates through your body and it goes out into the world through your body. And my favorite metaphor for this, to explain this, because I know it's kind of like out there and it's hard to grasp, but my favorite metaphor is to think of your body as a musical instrument. I played the piano for many years, and so I'm all familiar with kind of the structure and the feeling of a piano, but you can think of any instrument that you like. And so your body is the instrument. So what strikes the keys? What makes the music? What is the music? So you can think of thought as the act of striking the key on the piano, of playing a note. So the thought is the striking. But the sound is what is emitted from these strings vibrating, because the key strikes the chord and that string starts to vibrate. And so there's an energy, there's a sound, there's a vibration that we pick up and we hear it as sound, but it's a vibration. And so in our body, the thought is the note, and that note starts to emanate a vibration, and we feel the vibration through our emotions and the sensations in our body. And you know this to be true because you can have an anxious thought, a thought that starts to freak out about whatever it might be, and you start to feel anxious and you start to feel the vibration of anxiety, and you feel it in your body. It's moving through your body and it's moving out into the field around you, but first through your body. And so a thought is like striking the chord that starts to create a ripple effect of a vibration, and you feel the vibration through your emotions and it's moving through every cell. But you don't have just one thought. You don't, just think the one thing about a certain situation or about your body. You are a collection of thoughts, of beliefs, of memories, of experiences, of the programming that happened through your childhood, because we all got programmed through, before we were born in utero. Through the first 8 years of our lives, we learned all of these things about who we are, about our personality. We came in with a certain temperament that is kind of ancestral. We came in with the encoding in ourselves of our grandmother's experiences. We came with all sorts of sheet music, if you will. So we already came in with a sort of symphony that we started playing, and that got continuously reprogrammed, and we kept playing that music of who we are, of those beliefs, of those, background thoughts. that, about 90%, neuroscientists have proven that about 90% of our thoughts, of our mind, is subconscious. So about 90% of who we are is this invisible sheet music that we're just playing. And it moves through every cell in our bodies. And it's that's shaping your state of health or the lack of it. And the reality is that you can play different music. But again, let's say affirmations. I'm a fan of Louise Hay, for example. If you have the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, I always have it on my desk or next to my desk. And so Louise Hay was one of the pioneers of talking about how affirmations can help us shift our health and heal our bodies. But if you know the work of Louise Hay and you've had this experience, affirmations can be slow going, because affirmations are just one thought. And your conscious mind is about 8 to 10%. So it's just one thought, one of the many instruments in the symphony that you are. So here you're playing the piano of this one belief and the trombone of this other experience over there, and the drums of your childhood programming, and it's all sounding really loud, and you've got this one affirmation that might be like the flute playing this new little note. So you can imagine that it's going to take a while of playing that flute, that one note, that one affirmation, to shift the entire sound of the symphony that you are. So it's the symphony of who you are being that's moving through your cells, that's shaping your health, and you can absolutely shift that symphony. So of course, affirmations is one way. You can start with that. And I find that there's so much more that you can do to shift the core of that symphony, to start shifting your sheet music. And so I want to talk more about that, but I'm going to leave it at this for now, just to give you a feeling for how is it that you are the one who's playing this sheet music of your mind-body connection that's shaping your health, because you are, in fact, shaping your health, and you can shift it. So stay tuned with me for the next installment here on the YouTube channel, or you can subscribe to my newsletter on my blog. I'm also teaching a class on the alchemy of health, where I'm going to be talking more about the alchemy of how you create health through the alchemy of food, through the alchemy of self, of being, and through the alchemy of light. So I hope you'll join me. I'll put the link for that class under this video, and I'll see you next time.